Shah from Edge Institute of Engineering and Technology from the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering. Today I am going to explain you about two topics. The first one is linear constant coefficient difference equations and the second one is discrete time Fourier transform. It means DTFT from the subject of digital signal processing from the unit of discrete time signals and system in the frequency domain analysis. Now starting with the first topic, linear constant coefficient difference equation. In this topic, it will consider any recursive system. Now first of all, what is recursive system? Recursive system means it will taking any feedback system, then it will be known as the recursive system, and if will not using any feedback, then it will consider as non-recursive system. So if we consider any recursive system, then the output of it equals to representing as y of n equals to x of n plus a into y of n minus 1. In this, we have taken the sum of the portion of the previous output. As you see that the present output we consider as y of n, so the previous output or past output will be representing as y of n minus 1. So we'll taking sum of the portion of it. So we'll taking the constant a, it will multiply with y of n minus 1. So if we're considering the recursive system, then its output will be presenting as y of n equals to x of n plus a y of n minus 1. So if we're considering the recursive system output, then the answer of it equals to y of n equals to x of n plus a y of n minus 1. Now this particular equation will be used for different values of n. In this, if we are taking the value of n equals to 0, then the term will be y of 0 equals to x of 0 plus a into y of 0 minus 1. It means minus 1. So the term will be like this: y of 0 equals to x of 0 plus a y of minus 1. Same way, if we are finding for n equals to 1, then the term will be y of 1 equals to x of 1 plus a into y of 1 minus 1. It means y of 0. Now in this equation, instead of y of 0, we'll put in the value of y of 0. So the next term will be x of 1 plus a into x of 0 plus a into y of minus. Now if I am simplifying this term, then the answer of it equals to y of 1 equals to x of 1 plus a x of 0 plus a into a means a square y of minus 1. Similarly, we will finding for the value of n equals to 2. It means if we will taking the value of n equals to 2, then the term will be y of 2 equals to x of 2 plus a into 2 minus 1 means y of 1. So in this instead of y of 1, we will putting the value of y of 1 as this. So the term will be x of 2 plus a into x of 1 plus a into x of 0 plus a square into y of minus 1. Now if I am simplifying this particular equation, then the equation will be like this: y of 2 equals to x of 2 plus a into x of 1 plus a into a means a square x of 0 plus a into a square means a cube y of minus 1. Now from this three equation, we can derive the generalized equation. So in general, if we are writing the equation, then the equation will be like this: y of n equals to a raised to n plus 1 y of minus 1 plus a raised to n into x of 0 plus a raised to n minus 1 x of 1 up to last term is x of n. Now you can see that if we are taking n equals to 2, then the multiplication with this y of minus 1 will be a raised to 3, right? So 3 means 2 plus 1 means n plus 1. So in each and every term, the value of multiplicative factor of constant will be a raised to n plus 1 when we will taking the value of y of minus 1. So this equation will be representing as y of n equals to a raised to n plus 1 y of minus 1 up to this. Now this equation will be representing as a raised to n plus 1 y of minus 1, and this whole term will convert in terms of summation k equals to 0 to n a raised to k x of n minus k. If we are putting all different values of k from 0 to n, then it will give you this output. Now from this final equation, we will defining three different types of response. The first type of response we will consider as zero state response. Now what is zero state response? It is also considered as forced response. So what is the meaning of forced response? If we forcefully doing something equals to zero, then it will consider as forced response. So if we are taking the initial condition equals to 0, it means y of minus 1 of this equation equals to 0. So if we are taking initial condition of this system is 0, then this type of response we will consider as zero state response because we have forcefully done it to 0. So if the initial condition of any system will become 0, then it will representing as forced response or zero state response. So from this equation you can see that if we are taking the initial condition y of minus 1 equals to 0, so only this term will be there. So what will be the output? Y of n equals to this term only, right? So if we are writing the zero state response output, then equation of it equals to zero state means y zs of n and its value equals to summation k equals to 0 to n a raised to k x of n minus k. Now the next type of response is representing as zero input response or natural response. As there is no input, so it will naturally give the output. So it will consider as natural response also. So what is zero input response? If we are doing the input signal equals to 0, then it will give you the response. So it will consider as zero input response. And what is the input signal? Input will be representing as x. So all the term of x will becomes equals to 0. So this term will becomes equals to 0. So it will give you only the value of initial conditions. Then it will consider as a natural response. So the system output without applying any input means if we are taking x of n equals to 0, then it will representing as zero input response. And as you know that if we are not taking x of n, then only the term will be a raised to n plus 1 y of minus 1. So this will be representing as zero input means zi. So the term will be y zi of n equals to a raised to n plus 1 y of minus 1. Now the next type of response is total response of this two. So the next type of response is representing as total response. What is total response? Total response is the summation of these two responses. So total response will be representing as y of n equals to yzs of n plus yzi of n. So the answer of it equals to the final equation of this output y of n. So this way we can define three different types of responses from the any linear constant coefficient difference equations. Now the next topic is DTFT. What is DTFT? DTFT means discrete time Fourier transform. Suppose if we want to convert any discrete time signal from time domain to frequency domain, then we have to use discrete time Fourier transform. So basically DTFT is used to convert any discrete time signal from time domain to frequency domain. And if we are writing the equation of DTFT, then it will representing as x of omega equals to summation n equals to minus infinite to infinite x of n into e raised to minus j omega n. In this you can see that the range will be minus infinite to infinite. It means we will taking the entire range. For that entire range we will converting time domain signal into the frequency domain by using this equation. So basically it will be used for discrete time signal only. So we have to use this summation. Find DTFT of x of n equals to 1, 0, minus 5 p. In this arrow is given below minus 5 means this term will consider as n equals to 0. Before that it will consider as minus 1 and minus 2 and after it will consider as 1. So the range of n will be minus 2 to 1. So if you want to find out DTFT of this, then first of all we'll write down the equation of DTFT which is x of omega equals to summation n equals to minus infinite to infinite x of n into e raised to minus j omega n. In this we'll converting this in the form of range of minus 2 to 1 because as I have explained you that this range will be minus 2 to 1, right? So the term will be like this summation n equals to minus 2 to 1 x of n into e raised to minus j omega. Now in this if we are taking the value of n equals to minus 2, minus 1, 0 and 1, then the next step of this will be like this x of minus 2 into e raised to minus j omega into minus 2 plus x of minus 1 into e raised to minus j omega into minus 1 plus x of 0 into e raised to minus j omega into 0 plus x of 1 into e raised to minus j omega into 1. Now if we simplify this equation, then the next step will be x of minus 2 equals to 1, x of minus 1 equals to 0, x of 0 equals to minus 5 and x of 1 equals to 3. So we're putting this value in this equation, so the term will be like this. Now we're simplifying this term as e raised to minus j omega into minus 2 means minus minus plus 2j omega. So the last step will be x of omega will representing as e raised to 2j omega minus 5 plus 3 into e raised to minus j omega. So this is the final answer of this example. Now according to the changing of the position of this arrow, the answer of it will be changed. So the next example is find DTFT of x of n equals to 1, 0, minus 5, 3. In this you can see that the arrow will be written over here in below the first term instead of minus 5. Starting with the equation of DTFT, the equation of DTFT equals to x of omega equals to summation n equals to minus infinite to infinite x of n into e raised to minus j omega n. In this, the range will be changed like n equals to 0 to 1, 2 and 3. It means the range of n will be 0 to 3. So over here I am writing like this, summation n equals to 0 to 3 x of n into e raised to minus j omega n. Now if I am putting the value of n equals to 0, 1, 2 and 3 in this equation, then after simplification, answer of it will be representing like this, 1 plus 0 minus 5 into e raised to minus 2j omega plus 3 into e raised to minus 3j omega. So according to the position of arrow, the answer of it will be changed. Now the next example is find DTFT of x of n equals to 1, 0, minus 5, 3. In this, the arrow will be given below the 3. It means this will be considered as n equals to 0. Before that, the term will be minus 1, minus 2 and minus 3, right? So the range of n will be minus 3 to 0. So starting with the equation of DTFT, we are writing like this, x of omega equals to summation n equals to minus infinite to infinite x of n into e raised to minus j omega n. In this, the range will given to you like this, n equals to minus 3 to 0. So the range will be n equals to minus 3 to 0, x of n e raised to minus j omega n. Now in this, first of all we will taking the n equals to minus 3, minus 2, minus 1 and 0. So the term will be like this, and in this we will taking the value of x of minus 3, x of minus 2 from this term, then the equation will be like this. After simplification of it, answer of it equals to e raised to 3j omega minus 5 e raised to j omega plus 3. So this is the final answer of this example. So you can see that as the position of arrow will be changed, according to that the answer of DTFT will be changed. So you have to see where is the arrow, and if arrow is not given to you, then you have to take it below the first term. Now the next topic is properties of DTFT. The first property is linearity property. In this, if we are taking two signals x1 of n and x2 of n, then the linearity property will be representing as a1 x1 of n plus a2 x2 of n. And if we are finding DTFT of it, then answer of it equals to a1 x1 of omega plus a2 x2 of omega. Now the second property is time shifting. If you want to shift the signal in the time domain, so it will representing as x of n minus something, right? So if we are taking x of n minus k, and if we are finding the DTFT of it, then the answer of it equals to, if we are taking the value of x of n, DTFT of it equals to x of omega, and if we are shifting it, then the term will multiply with e raised to minus j omega k. So time shifting property will be representing like this, x of n minus k, its DTFT is e raised to minus j omega k x of omega. Now the next property is time reversal property. In the time reversal property, x of reversal means hold. So it will representing as x of minus n, and its DTFT will be representing as x of minus omega. Now the next property is conversion property. or it is considered as convolution theorem. If we convolve two signals x1 with x2, then the term will be x1 of n convolved with x2 of n, and if we find the DTFT of it, then in the frequency domain, it's multiplication of this two thing, right? So multiplication of these two things means x1 of omega into x2 of omega. Same way, the next property is multiplication theorem. If we multiply two signals in the time domain, then corresponding to it in the frequency domain, convolution of it. So multiplication theorem will be representing as x1 of n into x2 of n, dtft of it equals to 1 upon 2 pi integration minus pi to pi x1 of lambda into x2 of omega minus lambda d lambda. So by using this equation, we can say that if two signals are multiplied in the time domain, then corresponding to it in the frequency domain, convolution of it. Now the next property is frequency shifting property. In this, if you want to shift in the frequency domain, then corresponding to it in the time domain, we have to multiply the signal x of n with e raised to j omega 0 n. So the term will be like this: e raised to j omega 0 n into x of n dtft of it equals to x of omega minus omega 0. Now, the next property is differentiation in the frequency domain. If you want to differentiate in the frequency domain, as you know that the signal is a function of frequency. So we have to differentiate this with respect to frequency. So the term will be d by d omega x of omega. So if you want to find out it, then in the time domain, corresponding to it value will be n into x of n. It means if you are multiplying the input signal with n, then it will gives you the differentiation in the frequency domain. So n into x of n, dtft of it equals to j into d by d omega x of omega. So this way we can find the different properties of DTFT. In the next session, I will explain you different properties of this with proof.